Hello and welcome. Let me ask you one question. What would you do if you had a goose that gave you a golden egg every single day? Would you wait patiently, or would you try to get rich faster? And here's the real question. Could one bad decision destroy everything you have? There once lived a poor man and his wife in a quiet village. Their life wasn't easy. Every day was the same. They worked hard from sunrise to sunset just to have enough food to survive. Some days were better than others, but most of the time they barely had enough. They didn't dream of riches. They didn't expect miracles. They just hoped life might get a little easier someday. And then something strange happened. One morning, the man went out to check on his animals just like he always did. Among them was a simple goose. Nothing special about it, just a regular bird, or so it seemed. But that morning, something caught his eye. Inside the nest, there was an egg. At first, he didn't think much of it, but as he picked it up, he felt something unusual. It was heavier than normal, much heavier. He looked closer. The egg was shining. Not just a little, it was glowing. It was made of gold. The man froze. He stared at the egg in disbelief. His heart began to race. He rubbed his eyes, thinking maybe he was imagining things, but no matter how many times he looked, it didn't change. This was no ordinary egg. It was solid gold. He ran inside the house, holding the egg tightly in his hands. "Look," he shouted to his wife. She turned around, confused at first, but the moment she saw the egg, her eyes grew wide. They both stood there in silence. Neither of them could believe it. After a moment, the wife whispered, "Is it real?" The man didn't answer. He didn't need to. They both knew this was something incredible, something impossible, something that could change their lives forever. They took the egg to a goldsmith in the village to be sure. And when the goldsmith examined it, he confirmed what they already suspected. It was pure gold. The man and his wife could hardly contain their excitement. That single egg was worth more money than they had ever seen in their lives. They sold it. And just like that, for the first time in years, they didn't have to worry about food. They didn't have to count every coin. They could breathe. But the real surprise came the next day. The man went out again to check on the goose. And there it was, another golden egg. He picked it up, hands shaking. Another one, the same weight, the same shine, the same unbelievable value. He ran back to his wife again, and this time they didn't just feel surprise. They felt something else. Hope. Because now it wasn't just a miracle. It was a pattern. Day after day, the goose laid one golden egg, every morning without fail. Their life began to change. Slowly at first. They bought better food, then better clothes. Then they fixed their house. They didn't have to work as hard anymore. Life became comfortable. And then comfortable turned into something else. It turned into desire. At first, they were happy, truly happy. They had more than they ever dreamed of. But as time went on, something began to change inside them. They started thinking, if one egg is worth so much, what if we had more? That thought didn't go away. In fact, it grew stronger. Every day they received one golden egg, and every day it felt slower, too slow. They began to feel impatient. They looked at their goose, and instead of seeing a miracle, they started seeing something else. They saw a limit. The man began to speak about it one evening. "We're getting rich," he said, "but not fast enough." His wife nodded slowly. "Yes, it takes too long." They sat in silence, thinking. Then the man said something that changed everything. "What if the goose has gold inside it?" His wife looked at him. "What do you mean?" "I mean," he continued, "if it lays golden eggs every day, maybe it's made of gold inside." The idea hung in the air. It sounded crazy, but also possible. They started imagining it. What if the goose was filled with gold? What if they could take it all at once? No more waiting. No more one egg at a time. They could become rich overnight. The thought excited them. It filled their minds. And slowly, it replaced their patience. The wife spoke again. If that's true, then we don't need to wait anymore. The man nodded. We could have everything right now. They looked at each other. They both knew what they were thinking, but neither of them said it out loud. Not at first, because deep down they knew it was a risk, but greed has a strange way of working. It makes risks feel small and rewards feel huge. Finally, the man stood up. We'll do it tomorrow. The wife didn't argue. That night they couldn't sleep. Their minds were full of dreams, big dreams. They imagined piles of gold, a large house, a life without worry. A life where they would never have to wait for anything again. Morning came. The goose was outside just like always. Calm, quiet, unaware. The man took a knife. For a moment, he hesitated. This goose had changed their lives. It had given them everything. But then he thought about all the gold they could have. Not later, now, and that thought was stronger than anything else. Without another word, they killed the goose. They quickly cut it open, their hands moving fast with excitement. They were ready to see the treasure inside, ready to finally have it all. But when they looked inside, there was nothing. No gold, no treasure, nothing special at all. It was just a goose. A normal, ordinary goose. They froze, their hearts dropped. The knife slipped from the man's hand. They stared in silence. Everything they had hoped for, everything they had imagined, disappeared in that moment. They looked at each other. No words came out, because now the truth was clear. They hadn't gained anything. They had lost everything. No more golden eggs, no more daily miracle, no more growing wealth, just one terrible decision that destroyed it all. Days passed, then weeks. The nest remained empty. The goose was gone, and with it, their chance. They were back where they started, poor again. But now something was different. Before, they had hope. Now they had regret. Every morning, they remembered what they had done. Every day, they thought about the eggs they would never receive. And slowly, they understood something they hadn't understood before. They hadn't been unlucky. They had been impatient. They hadn't been poor. They had been greedy because what they had was already enough, more than enough. But they wanted more, and in wanting more, they lost everything. Now think about this. How often do people do the same thing? Maybe not with a golden goose, but with opportunities, with money, with life. We want things faster. We want success now. We don't want to wait. And sometimes, in trying to rush everything, we break the very thing that was working. The man and his wife didn't fail because they were poor. They failed because they couldn't be patient. They couldn't accept steady progress. They wanted everything at once. And that's what cost them everything. The truth is, real success often comes slowly. One step at a time. One golden egg at a time. It doesn't feel exciting. It doesn't feel fast, but it works. And if you destroy that process just to go faster, you might end up with nothing. So next time you feel impatient, next time you think, this is too slow, ask yourself, am I about to lose something good just because I want something faster? Because sometimes the smartest thing you can do is simply wait and protect what's already working. That's the lesson of the goose that laid the golden eggs, not just a story about greed, but a reminder that wanting too much can leave you with nothing at all.